Hi guys, Sahil Bora here. In this video today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a DLL in Visual Studio step by step. But before we get into the nitty-gritty contents of how to create a DLL, we've got to ask ourselves, what is a DLL? A DLL is basically a generated file in Windows which stands for Dynamic Link Library. And the advantages of DLL files is that DLL files can be transferred in different programs. Because the differences between when you're compiling your program, say in Visual Studio, is that you can either generate your code as an exe or a DLL. And in this video today, we're going to be showing you guys how to create a DLL. So let's get into the video. First thing we need to do is that when we're creating a DLL project, is that what we need to do is that we need to open up Visual Studio, and then what we need to do is that we need to select C++, make sure that it's selected, that Windows is selected, and then what we can do is that we can go from all project types, this option here, and what we can do is we can scroll down to the library option here. So over here, what we want to do is that we want to select Dynamic Link Library, and just click on Next, and just create a name for the DLL library that we are creating. So just do that, and once you've got a name for it, just click on Create. Okay, so once you've created a DLL project, you'll notice that there will be a couple of header files in the project called Framework and PCB. You don't need to worry about those two header files, as though those already come with the DLL project. So what I've got here is that I've added in a new header file called calculation.h, because this DLL that I'm creating is going to be a very basic DLL that we're creating just to show you, just so I can show you guys how to create a DLL step by step, because I don't want to make the project too complex. So in my calculation.h file, so I'm pretty sure that you guys know how to add in a header file. If you guys don't know how to add in a header file, all we have to do is just right click, go to add, and go to new item, and then just select header file from here. If you guys don't know how to do that, so what I've got here in my header file here is that we've got this line that says pragma once, so that's required for the DLL creation. And then I've got these 5 lines here called calculation exports. So these 5 lines that I've got here is what allows the DLL to call the functions which we've defined in lines 10 and 12. So these 5 lines are necessary for the DLL for it to work. Hence why I've called it calculation exports and calculation API. So these 2 lines here that I'm highlighting here are part of the DLL project, which is required for it to work. And then I've got over here that my 2 lines that I've defined. So the first line that I've got defined here is called extern C. So that means we are able to call that. We're able to call this function void addition. So this function here is just going to be a very basic function where it just adds 2 numbers, hence why it's called addition. And then also over here, I've also got a subtraction function here. So what it's doing here is that in this header file, I've just defined a subtraction function here. So if I go to the implementation file, which is, so when you guys want to add in an implementation file, all you have to do is go add, new item, and just click on CPP file and just name it whatever you want. I've already got it there. I've already got it there, as you can see, because I didn't want to write out the code while I was doing it. But what I can do is that I'll load up the calculation.cpp file now. So what I've got for the calculation.cpp file is that I've got these 2 lines, these 3 lines which are required for the DLL to work. And then I've also got the header file here, which we defined the two functions addition and subtraction. So this header file that I've got defined here is going to be calling those two functions that I've defined in this file here, addition and subtraction. So in these two functions, we're actually implementing what's actually happening for addition and subtraction. So when we call the addition function from that DLL file, what it's going to be doing is that it's going to be calling, it's going to print out addition, and then it's going to be printing out the two numbers it's going to be adding the two numbers which have been entered in the parameters here. So if I put 5 for A and then 5 for B as well, it's going to equal 10. Because what we're doing is, since we have double A and double B, if A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 5, then it's going to compute it's going to compute the total of what A and B is. And it's going to be the same scenario for the subtraction function as well. Since we've got double A and double B, if I have the two values as A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 5, then what it's going to do is that if I call this function and have 10 is equal to A, 5 is equal to B, then it's going to display subtraction, and then after that, after it's showing the word subtraction, it's going to show a value of 5. So that's the implementation of the two header files that I've got in the calculation.h file, which are going to be called, which I'm going to be showing you guys when we use the DLL file. So when we build this DLL file, what you can do is that all you have to do is just go up to this option here and just click on build solution. Well, it was already been built as I was writing the code earlier. So let me just clean the solution, and let me just build it again. So it's building right now. So once it's built, what you can do is that just go around to the Solution Explorer here, right click on the project, and click on Open Folder in File Explorer. So what it's going to do is that it's going to open up the project directory, and as you can see here, it's got all the files of the project. What you want to do is that you just want to go back one step. So go back one step. And then if you built it in debug mode, you can either build it in debug mode or release mode. Since I'm only showing you guys an example, I'm just building it in debug mode at the moment. So if you open up this folder, so if you go back to this folder here and you go into the debug folder here, what you can see now is that we have generated the DLL file and also the library file as well. So these two files that I've got here, the DLL file and the library file, if you just right click this one, you'll say that it's a library file. It's just because I've got Altium Designer installed on my computer. But these two files are what's going to be needed to create your project, to use the DLL to run with the DLL file and the library file. Once you've generated the DLL files, all we have to do now is just create a basic Windows console application so that it can link the DLL libraries that we have just created. So just to do that, all we have to do is click on Create a New Project. Make sure it's set to C++, Windows, and then what we want to do is that we want to create a console application. So in Visual Studio 2019, what I want you guys to do is to select a console application and create a name for it. And then just click on create. So now we're at part 2 of the video where we've created our console application, which is going to be referencing the DLL file that we have just created. So what you'll notice here is that I've created a very basic application which is calling those two functions that I've created. So the first thing that we need to do is that we've got the calculation.header file in the CPP file over here. So we're calling the so what we're doing is we're referencing the calculation.h file that we created in the DLL project over here. So this file here that we've created is actually going to be referenced in this project here, the DLL implementation. So the way that we can reference this header file is that the way we can do that is that what we can do is that we can just right click on the console project, click on properties, and then what we want to do is that we want to go to C and C++, and then what you want to do is you want to click on general, and then where you've got that header file defined, an easy way to do it is that wherever you got that header file defined, all we have to do is just go to where it is created. See how that we have that header file defined in this folder. So what we can do is that we can just copy this directory, and then we can just paste it over there. Since I've already got it there as a reference, I just thought I'd show it to you guys again on what to do. So just to show you guys again. So to reference that calculation.h file, find where that calculation.h file is referenced. So it's inside this folder here, and then copy that link. So just get that link, Control C, and just copy and paste it right here. So now that should import that. Now that should be referencing that calculation.h file from now on. So what I've got here is that I've got the addition function. So this addition function has got two parameters. So what I'm doing is that I'm doing 1 + 1, and then I've also got a new line, and then I'm also doing the subtraction function here. So when I run this program, I should be getting a value of 2, and then for the subtraction value, I should be getting a value of 1. So, but before I compile the program, I also need to reference the DLL file and the library file, which has been generated from the first part of the video of when we created the DLL file and the library file. So to do that, what we can do is we can just right click on the project property, right click on the project and right click on the properties option. And then what we want to do is that we want to go to linker, and then we want to go to input. And then what we want to do is that we want to reference the DLL file that we generated. So the library file that we generated, we want to reference. So it's an lib file that we're referencing here. So in the project, what you want to do is that you want to copy that library file in. What you can do is you can copy it inside the debug folder. So this file here, you want to copy it in the debug folder here, and you can also copy it in the project folder as well. And for also just to double check, you can also copy before you compile the console application, copy and paste the DLL file, the math.dll file in here, and copy the library file in here as well for it to work. So once you've copied those two files required, the console application should be able to work. If I don't have those two files, if I delete these two files, actually, let's see what happens. So if I try to run the program now, this is what will happen. It will say that the DLL file is not found because we don't have the DLL file in that folder that we need. So what we do is that we open up the project folder. So my project is called DLL implementation, and then you just go to the debug folder, and then you just copy those two. Whoops. Just got to copy those two files again. Just bear with me. Yep, so what you want to do is just copy the math DLL file, the math DLL extension file and the library file, which is over here. Copy and paste it in here. Close those two windows. And there we go. So there we go. So now our console application is referencing those DLL files that we've created originally from the first part. So it's using those functions that we've created in the DLL file to show you the values of the addition and subtraction calculation functions that we've created from the DLL files. So there you have it, guys. So that's step by step on how to create a DLL file. If this video has helped you, please click on that like button and smash that like button if this video has helped you a lot. Attention computer science and engineering students. Are you tired of falling asleep in class while your lecturer spills out C++ gobbledygook? My name is Sahil Bora, and I'm the founder and proprietor of the C++ Better Explained website. What I'm offering you guys today is my 87-page book that outlines how to quickly and master the fundamentals of the C++ programming language. If you've been searching around for free YouTube videos that haven't made any sense at all, or free C++ tutorials online that have made you want to gouge your eyes out, my book will put all of that to rest today, because my book is written in a straightforward and direct manner using my learning tools such as Analogies for Dummies, visual code diagrams, and simple code documentation that will get you learning and understanding the C++ programming language in a matter of days. The book is $9, and what I want you guys to do is to click on the green button below and pick up a copy today. You will not regret this at all.